Hello everybody, how are we doing tonight? So as promised, hopefully the audio is good enough. I'm using a completely different rig for this one. But as promised tonight, we are going to do slice and print. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 printers for new jobs. So tonight we are going to start doing some slicing. We're going to do Cura. We may even do some work in Shinto box. So start getting some resin prints ready to go. Take a look here, see what printers we got. No, the Proxima's not in here. I'll have to add the Proxima. But all in all, it's kind of one of those things. I just got a lot I need to get sliced and get sent to the printer and get started with. And boy, do I have a list of stuff to do. There is quite a list. So I'm going to kind of just pick. Audio is quiet. Okay, let me see what I can do here. That says the microphone is all the way. Let's see here. As you guys can see, yeah, I'm on Windows 11. Oh, input. Wait a minute. Let's see if there's anything. Ooh, input. Is this any better? That should hopefully fix that problem. And I can see the bar moving up a lot more now. So hopefully that kind of solves the sound issue there. I'm using a lapel. It's actually just right here on me. So hopefully this kind of solves the issue with the audio. Because that input volume was way down. So I just jacked that up all the way. But as you guys can see, we got a lot of stuff we can slice from. There's a couple files I want to start. And actually, if Dirk hops in here, there's a file he sent me asking for help that I'm going to look at with the Flash Gordon. There's a couple Star Trek files I wanted to get going. A few Halo files that I want to work on as well. So there's a lot. I got a lot to work on. All right. Including it's a wall mount of the Halo Legendary banner. I've got someone wanting that one. If anybody's a Doctor Who fan, I've had a request to print the Doctor Who, the Cyberman helmet. Actually, this is the one I want to start with, though, is Baby Groot. He's a plant potter, or plant pot, but that's my CR10 build plate. So, let's look at him at, I'm like 400%. Ooh, no, that ain't gonna work. 300. That'll work though. So 300%. He fills up the area quite a bit. You can see from the red, there's definitely areas that need supporting as this builds. So, and even under here you can see supports needed a little bit for in there. But this is going to be the first one I send back to a printer because this project was one that was asked for. One thing too, guys, I'm using Cura 4.10 still. I haven't up to the newest Cura yet. I'm a few editions behind. And I've got my printer segmented in here. But a lot of them use the same profile that I've made, and a lot of my settings work across most of my printers, which gives me pretty good utility here. So just kind of going through here. One thing too, and this is gonna take forever to load up, but I also use Marketplace with a ton of plugins to make Cura better for me. And I gotta wait for it to load up here. And some of the plugins, like custom supports, is a big one. I have the MKS Wi-Fi plugin, and we've stalled because Cura. Anybody else have Cura stall up like this one a lot? Because especially when I come into the marketplace, I get this a lot. And it does infuriate me a little bit. I don't know if it's better than any of the others. Mesh tools is a great one to have if you've got some just minor errors. Octoprint connections in here, but I never use it. Sideboard GUI is my favorite. That's what gives me this. So it's definitely a good one. Custom supports is one of my complete favorites though, because it lets me add custom supports in. You guys have seen some of that in some of the videos. So there's a lot of good ones. I got to upgrade some of mine, but there's all kinds of plugins out here if you have not looked to go through, and even material profiles that you can get. That you can install and start using, so it does let you kind of connect better to profiles of the material that you purchase. But there was one, the Sideboard GUI is one I've got, but there was another support one someone was telling me about that would let me put in supports at a 45-degree angle instead of just straight up and down. And that one's kind of would be a awesome plugin to have. But I'm not seeing, because there's my custom supports that I have. It may be one I just have to go out and download elsewhere. So, but that's just kind of my plugins that I use in Cura to make things a little bit better to work with. And we got him blown up, and I see this right here. So I'm going to grab my model. I'm going to come over to custom support. Don't like how that looks. So I'm actually going to grab that. I'm going to delete it. And I'll take off drop to build base. Okay, so that's just going to have to be something that's pretty normal. So I won't do anything custom here. I'm going to delete that one. And I'm just going to go through, check some of my settings here. And guys, this will be a video afterwards, so you guys can actually go get these settings from the video as well. Top layer skin, that's fine. Bottom layer, where is infill? 2% is probably fine. Material 215, because I'm working with a CR10 for this one, so 215 is fine. It's gotten cold outside, so I've raised my build plate temperature from 50 that I usually use. Speed 50, infill speed 84, that's all fine. Retraction is enabled. Retract at layer change, yep. The reason why I have retract at layer change turned on is because my nozzle moves away from my print and then comes back. So the Octolapse software can take a picture. So that one is kind of important for what I'm doing. My retraction is 6.5. That works well for me. Some people need it even higher to stop stringing. Let's see here. Z-hop when retracted, yes. Z-hop height, 0.4 is fine. Avoid supports when traveling, yes if possible, so I don't knock my supports over. Cooling, don't care. Support. Should have looked at my raft, because it's only a 5, so that's not bad. Not bad for a raft. Now if I'm doing like a starship or something narrow and tall, I'll widen that raft out to give it more grip on the build plate. I'm guessing about 600-700 grams would be my guess for the CR10. But again, I'm just guessing. It could be even more. Oh, wow. 346. That's not bad at all. Because I did make him pretty hollow. So let's take a look here. Let's look at the preview. So we're getting supports there. The raft. Getting some supports in his armpits from those few areas that were loose. all in all, not too bad support-wise. I want to look here. I want to see. That's got me curious. How is the inside of the pot gonna build? Okay, so it does just start building off that infill layer. Okay. I'll accept that. Sweet. All right. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. I'm going to get that one saved to the disks. And I'm going to save that to my transfer file here. I'm going to open that folder. It's going to come up somewhere, which you guys can see I've done a ton. And I happen to have a CR10 V1. This is my Octoprint interface. Yeah, I know I'm still running Python 2. I'll fix it eventually. And I'm going to copy Baby Groot over to that. And we'll get that printer started. Okay, are we uploaded? Not yet. Come on, save it. Thinking about it. All right, file is uploaded, file is kicked. And away she goes. I gotta wait for one more prompt and then this one will get on there. We can check on its first layers as we go, but that's gonna take 2.5 days to print, but I think that one's gonna be a really fun one. Especially once it's cleaned up and going to paint it. I think that's gonna be a really fun model for whoever gets this one. But it does take a little bit, because I use Octolapse, you see this processing G-code file on mine. And then it'll ask me to accept. Now that printer will start heating up. So we'll move that guy to the side. We'll come back and check on him later. All right, we'll minimize this guy and we're gonna clear the build plate. Boop. So one of the things that's coming up, guys, and I don't know if you're interested in it at all, is I've been asked to do a full-size R2-D2. And I am going to, I've already put in the amount of filament I think it's going to take is now in my shop. We'll see. But I had on the last stream a gentleman, he actually sent me the file for the Flash Gordon Quad Fighter. So we're going to pull this guy onto the build plate. Ew, he's teeny and I'm still in preview mode. That's why it doesn't work. All right, so this is a little bitty guy. If I'm going to print it, let's go 300%. All right, so it's obviously meant for a stand because you can see the pin. But let's go back and look at this. Okay, so there's one with no pin. Let's pull it down. Okay, so we got the wrong one. So we'll delete that one. We'll take the non-pinned one. 400%. Sounds like fun. All right, so what would I do with this model? So this model is interesting because of its design. So in actuality, let's go 600. Actually, even better, let's pop this over to the Odin. Good old Odin. I'm going to pop that back down to 500%. Okay, so models like this, especially spaceships, I want as little area touching to give me the best detail. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to rotate. I'm going to stand it up straight, just like that. So I have minimal touch to the build plate, but there's a lot of areas here you can see are going to need support. Now, auto-generate support will take care of a lot of this, but these corners here bother me. And these wings building up, like right here, I cannot understand why this is not saying it needs support. Because, look at that pin. There's no way that's going to start to print properly. So we're going to have to take care of that. Now, I could lower the auto-generate percentage and it would probably take care of that. But I want as little support as possible. So that's where custom support comes in great. So I'm going to just, boop, I'm just going to pop in some supports on those spots just to make sure that we get good coverage, good strength, and make sure that they will build up nice and safe and sound. And, you know, I'm one of those, I would rather over support a little bit than under support. So like in here, I'm going to delete, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going to support, support, support. And that lets that build a good support structure. The rest of this quad fighter, it doesn't look too bad. I do kind of wish the model had more detail to it, but you know, we can't win everything here. So, all right. So we got that. And this is on the Odin 5 build plate, so I'm going to slice. My Odin 5 settings are not that much different. A raft of 5. That might be too little, but we'll give it a shot. Now, the Odin 5 is about the same size as an Ender 3. If you guys haven't seen an Odin 5, go check out my video on this printer. This printer is slick. For an FDM printer, it rocks. 4 bolts, your frame is put together, plug in a few cables, level your bed. You can have this thing ready to rock in 15 to 20 minutes to print. Versus an Ender 3, I think last time I put an Ender 3 together, it took me like an hour. Infill 10% is probably overkill. Let's go to preview. So you can see the auto-generate support filled in a lot of the gaps. All in all, it doesn't look too terrible. There's going to be a lot of pop. Get off their infill directions. But I am concerned, again, here. Bugs me a little bit. I want to look how that support builds. So I don't want to go getting a ton of support up around these motors and then have to try to get it out of there. That's going to suck. So watching that build up, that doesn't look terrible at all. That doesn't look like it's going to be hard to get out at all. So that will probably be fine. Come here. I want to look at that infill in the main body. It's not too much. But sometimes what'll happen is, right in here, these supports will just become a big brick. And then it's nightmare to get it off. And I don't want that. So 46 grams to print this? All right, I need to scroll out. Look at this whole thing. Yeah, it's taking a pretty good amount of the build area. It's just narrow. So we'll save that one. Let's see what we get for my first shot with it. And let's go get the Odin 5. I'll pull it in, open folder. So we got the Odin 5 sitting there nice and in standby. So we'll pull the quad fighter in. And guys, links to these models will be in the description of the video, so definitely go check those out if I hit on anything that you want to see, that you want to print yourself. Did I not? Oh, okay, did copy. So we'll get that guy started. But is there any models that you guys would like to see sliced? I'm working on the FDM right now. I am going to switch over to the resin stuff here shortly. We may even have to get into Mesh Mixer for a few things. All right, quad fighter, we've hit OK, and our temperatures are going up. So awesome. So let's, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, look, it's showing YouTube. Come back, Cura. All right. I can already hear printers moving. I don't know if you guys can hear that on the microphone, but there are some already moving. So we've got this. We'll go to prepare. And let's clear that build plate. All right. We get down here. Oh, I hate how our camera works on this anymore. Camera, front view. There we go. All right. Back where we need to be. I'm going to switch back to a CR10 build plate area. And Flash Gordon. We got the quad fighter going. I was looking at doing Bo-Katan, the owls. Got to extract it here. Extract. That's nice. And I want to do it in one piece. I don't want to do a split. Oh, this is terrible. So I hate when I find this. So what happens a lot of times, people will make the models and throw it out there. Hey, look at this. This is ridiculous. There's no way I can print this. But there are ways to fix this issue right here in Cura. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my mesh tools. Well, I got to select the model, go into mesh tools, and I'm going to split model into parts. This is an awesome tool in here that works really, really well. So once this process runs, hopefully those 4 pieces, and you guys can't even see where I'm painting. Ah, there we go. So it broke those pieces off into separate parts. So, oh, I'm stuck on custom support. No. So now I can move these and orient them to actually be parts. So that tool is awesome. I do highly recommend that you put it into your Cura if you've got it. If Cura is what you use. Some people have other programs that they like to use. All right. So why are you still saying I can't? Okay, there we go. So now we've got the model. Okay, we got it in all of its requisite pieces. So how would I print this? One, I'm going to move you over there. And just because I know Cura, I got to move you off to a spot where you're not going to hit the helmet. And I'm going to rotate you, and I'm going to lay you down. And we're going off into orbit. There we go. Okay, so we got that piece. And now I'm going to rotate you. You're going to rotate weird, and you're going to muck it up. All right, let's fix all these pieces first. That way we can lay the model down. And you're at 0. And this one, just for ease of printing, I don't understand what's going on today. That should just be rotating flat. But Cura is kind of having its own heyday here. Maybe I do need this, can see. And I'm laying them down because that's less support. That's less work I have to do. But I am a little concerned about how my Cura is behaving today. Because this is being a bit weird. Okay. I think I've hit a button somewhere and I don't know what I've hit. Alright, we're going to pull that over to this corner. Pull you over here. Now this one I've got a quandary because I want smooth surfaces. And for really good smooth surface, I don't want it down. So I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to face down. Yeah, I'm going to move it back over here. I'll move this back over here. Now we got to deal with this. Ooh. That one's going to be a weird piece. There's no real good angle for that one. We'll leave that guy alone. Let's get the main helmet. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. Like that. Now let's get it back into the build plate. Because what I need to see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's going to be a really small helmet. So, with that being said, I need to increase the size. And not accidentally increase the size on stuff that I shouldn't be increasing size on. So I'm actually going to bring... I do not know what you're doing today. I swear Cura was working just fine earlier today. I don't know what's going on. Other than it's just kind of being painful today. So I want to be on the safe side. Fit. And that did exactly what I thought it was going to do. So I got to... Okay. Because I'm not hitting the right button to put it back on the build plate. All right. So we've taken that up to 120. Now I got to do it to the rest. And then position. Now moving up to 120 shouldn't be that big of a deal. And it should give the helmet a good size. Because let's be honest, I'm not going to wear this helmet. I'm going to try to make this helmet for Megan. And we're going to do that. So we want good earpieces. And I should have known. We're just clipping just a little bit. Okay, fine. We're going to set you off to the side. We're going to get the helmet in the right spot. And we're going to bring these other pieces back in. So this is the fun of it. Now, a lot of times, I wouldn't do this. I would delete these. Actually, I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to delete these. And just go for the helmet. Because what I can do is do the opposite of everything I just did. So that gives me more room to work with the helmet too. And I'm going to scale it a little bit more to 125. And then we're going to eke it. And then I'm going to eke it into place. Why are we not fitting? We fit there. All right, well, you're going to be this way. Boop. There we go. So now we've got the fit. Saying, oh, you're using way too much support. There's a reason I do it this way. And the reason I do it this way is I hate sanding. Period. If I can get a good clean finish from the print, I will go for that finish over anything I do. And this right here, I'm going to get a good clean finish. All the junk and bad spot will be in here. And guess what? In that top piece, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to shove a piece of foam up there. And that support, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't throw a lot of the supports away. I use them to make other things. It works for me. And that's part of the battle, is what works for me. So I am going to slice the helmet. Or actually, no, I'm not. Got one more thing we got to do. Custom supports. So people may say I'm wrong. And you know what? That's fine. Because in the end, I've got my model. In the end, I got my model. I will print however I have to achieve the model. And to achieve it with as minimal long-term work as I can. That's what I go for. Is I don't want to have to sit there and sand and sand and sand. That's no fun when I can try and get it right the first time. Wait for the computer to catch up here. So that's kind of just how I work. It's not that you have to do it that way. So I will eat, because honestly, what am I going to do with this support? I'm going to turn it into a pillar or something in a diorama. And I noticed that was unsupported, and that bugs me a little bit, so I will support that. All in all, that is going to be a cool helmet. The sizing looks just about right. We'll get rid of that. Let the computer catch up here. Hopefully my Cura doesn't close. So all in all, there we go. So I'm going to slice that. Well, infill density is a little low for my liking. We'll take a look at it and see how the infill looks. But the custom supports, you can see I just threw all that support on there. And then the auto generator is going to build around it, which is great too. So I'm really kind of hopeful for this one to be a one and done. My estimate for filament usage here is probably close to 700-800. That's kind of just experience with these helmets, and just the slice time is telling me might be a bit big. So let's see how slicing goes. So what is everybody printing right now? I mean, just kind of, I know it's the holidays. People are getting ready to travel. Some people are finally getting done with work. I'm off work for the next week and a half. I got a lot of printing I want to do. Been in here cleaning up a lot. Got some more helmets mounted on the wall. Got my stage cleaned up. Fixing some models that were in the great shelf collapse. Getting them put back together. Just kind of working on stuff, making this room clean so I can actually, work. Because, yeah, gotta work. So, that is taking a good amount of time to slice. Hopefully that one will get done here. While we wait on that, the camera should load up pretty quick. Oh, look at that first layer. That looks good. That's going down nice. Temperatures are holding steady well. Reviews with Douglas, what printer are you going for? I feel like you've come on here and said you're getting a printer, but I can't remember which one you said you're going to do. That's just laying down really nice. I'm really happy with that. Again, this one's Bo-Katan's helmet. The Owls. So I'm kind of excited to work on that one. There we go. We're getting a good move of slice movement now. Check out the Odin, see how it's doing. Oh, it's off to the races already. Presu XL. Not familiar with that one. Now I'm assuming you're actually trying to say the Prusa XL. Illigu Saturn is... I've had the Illigu Mars, and I liked them. They were okay. But, and this video is coming out on the 28th, I recently got the Voxlab Proxima. I was impressed. The Proxima, I was printing with the Proxima in 15 minutes. I was extremely happy with the way that printer is set up. And they now have the 8-inch build plate in the Proxima as well. That, and not for a bad price. I think it's $400 for the 8-inch version of the Voxlab Proxima. I have yet to run into a problem with the Proxima that I've got sitting back there. I also got a Creality Halet 1 that you guys will be seeing a video coming up soon on that one as well. I am trying to really kind of transition into the resin land. Just don't forget, the printer is only half the battle. You also want to make sure you get a wash and cure station to make things a little bit easier in the long run, especially that post-processing. So that is definitely up 650. I was kind of right on. 5 days print time ain't too bad. I'm going to save that one, but I'm not going to send it to a printer yet. I got to figure out which printer is ready with that much filament. And actually, no, I don't need to figure it out. Oh, no, yeah, I do. Because my V3 is kind of low. The V1 is printing something already. That was because that one's printing Groot. The Odin's printing, which should be relatively fine. But 600, I'm going to have to change a filament spool. So we'll leave that one off to the side here. And we're going to clear the build plate. All right. Let's go take a look at what else we got here. Bo-Katan's helmet was one. Is there something in the... And if you guys can read the list, if there's something that catches your eye that you want to see me talk about. Because there's the Mandalorian helmet one. Making the Mandalorian armor, that was a lot of fun. Even the Death Trooper armor that I made this last year was a lot of fun to do. I'm actually thinking about this year switching over to Halo and do one of the probably the older armors. I've got some plans for the Mark 6. I'm not quite sure I want to do that. One of the things I was wanting to do. Yeah, the Boba Fett bookends are an interesting file. I do want to pull this one up real quick. So I think this is the whole model. So I kind of been on the futuristic Star Trek kick lately. And this one has caught my eye. It is a variant of the Enterprise E, but go to the final episode where you had that Dreadnought Enterprise D. This is kind of that storyline. So I'm going to rotate this guy. I don't know what this is. I didn't put that in. Did I put that in there? Well, let's get that out of here. But you guys can see it's got the big Lance phaser on the drive, the 4 upgraded warp nacelles. This one's kind of a, if I eventually have time, project to take a look at. And actually, just sitting here looking at it, I can already tell I cannot, camera position front, I cannot print it in that orientation. I'm going to have to spin her like, oh, come on. Like that. And of course, spin it like that. And in true Rise 3D printing fashion, we got to scale her up. But there is a lot of detail on this model that just looks really cool. And we'll throw on the custom supports. And honestly, I do the custom supports. So when I do a starship like this, I will throw the custom supports all over that saucer section to as it builds up, it just holds it more. So that just kind of gives everything a point to build. And then it's a model, so I'm not going to do a high infill because I don't want it heavy. And I'm going to actually come down and kick my generate supports down to 70. So it actually generates a bit more support. That guy's just sitting there doing nothing, so he's a waste of a print. And you're not really doing anything, so I'm going to delete you, but I want to support that bridge module. So we'll make sure the bridge builds. But everything else should, for the most part, build. So I'm actually going to slice that guy out. I'm actually kind of happy with that one. And we'll do the Boba Fett ones here next. Now, here's the question. Boba Fett, do it in filament or resin? Or actually, in all honesty, this one might need to be a combined project. Because there are larger pieces that may need to be done in filament, you know, like the actual bookend part, but actually do boba and resin, so we get the sharp, clean detail. I think that'd be kind of cool. And if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit that like button, because I'm kind of stepping out of a comfort zone and doing this live, where I may actually sit here and talk about one of these and work on one of these models for actual hours. 150 grams, I can throw this guy on a printer today. Let's take a look at a preview of him real quick, and then let's go hop over to Shinto Box and take a look at it. So all in all, not a lot going on here. Not a lot of additional supporting was needed. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to save that one to disk. I'm going to throw that actually over to a printer. I've got a CR10 V2 standing by. That one would be kind of a cool print, so I'm going to get that one out there. And let's go. Woohoo! Let's hop over to this guy. So you guys can see I've got a Mars profile, a Creality profile, my Anycubic, and my Voxlab 6. The first thing I need to do is I need to add a new profile. Now that I think about it, because there's a printer missing here, because I've got the Halo 1. Yeah, same for me, Reviews with Douglas. I started building them as a kid, and kind of never stopped. And, you know, the 3D printer kind of opened up the door. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. It kind of opened the door for me to, it was really nice having the ability to make my own model and have fun with how I designed it. So I've added my new printer, but this one's going to go on the Proxima. So we'll get that one selected so it defaults there. Let's go find the Boba Fett bookends. And let's look at the files. Now, so you guys can see there are multiple files. I'm going to just pull the body. Pull his body. Oh dear. That ain't going to work. This model has been made for FDM. This one's been made for FDM. So let's get that out of here and let's go look at these files again. Yeah, just looking at that scale, he's been made for an FDM printer. Not these little guys. Because that's just his jetpack. That I could rotate and get on the build plate. So it's one of those things you can do these in combined. That's actually fine. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is how this has been sliced. I don't like that. Where people put multiple parts into one slice and just Make them the separate pieces. Because doing this helps nobody. So this has definitely been sliced for FDM. So I am going to kick that over to Cura. Oh, let's go back. Clear build plate. And let's pull him on for the Cura build. Oh, I'm still in preview. All right. So all in all, not so terrible. Definitely was cosmetically made for this. So let's slice this and take a look at it. Now, my supports are still at 70%. You can definitely tell by the size of these that they are not meant for... I couldn't even fit all of this on my Photon Mono the way it is, which is kind of disappointing that the model maker chose to do this. So now what can you do? Okay, so Cura, with the marketplace add-in, that mesh tools that I added, I can break these all into separate break all these parts into a separate model. Now, I still don't think I can do this in resin. I think it's just too big. But when I break that, I can actually, I'm still on the custom support button. I could break this up and then go up here and go to export and export them as separate STLs. It's a lot of extra work, but it can really pay off in the long run. So kind of keep that in mind. We could make this work, but all honesty, I'm not going to really fight with this too much. We got other stuff we can throw into the resin. So that's my transfer. Let's go back to models for tonight. Here. Clone Troopers. Army men size Clone Troopers. Here we go. Let's play with these over on Resin Land. So we got a dead one. Well, that's a poor choice for me to pick. We got one with pistols. And I can throw multiple on here, as long as they'll fit. And all the models that I got here, I will put these in the description. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of the one thing that's more work than is truly needed to do this. So, but we'll play with these guys. These guys look like fun. And I can get quite a few on here. For one, stay on target. Don't get all funky on me here. These have been made. I can actually do quite a bit here in just one print. So they're on there. They're green, which is good. So now we got to support it, because you can't just print it like that. It ain't going to work. So we'll go over here to supports. Oops. Check all of them so I can do this all at one time. And it's going to process everybody. It's going to take a few moments because computers. All right. So it's found all the support points. So I'll hit plus all. Those are medium supports. We only need light. So I'm going to plus all it again. It's going to recalculate, and it's going to thin those supports down. You can see there's a lot going on here. A lot more supports than I feel like it needs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick back over here. And I'm going to play the rotate game. Yeah, take off supports. I'm going to rotate him 45 degrees. Same with him. It's going to take a minute to do. Sorry, Windows 11 is telling me to do something, and I'm just kind of ignoring it because it's Windows 11. I'm going to rotate these guys. I'm going to angle them. And there's two reasons why I'm angling. One is that bottom plate. As you guys can see, it's letting me, I'm doing the angling because when I come back to these supports, there's actually probably going to be less support. Does anybody here play Star Wars Legions? Not that I'm making these for that at all. I'm actually not. I'm just kind of curious because when I was a kid, I loved playing with Green Army Men. And now I can have Star Wars ones. Heck yeah. Almost done readjusting. So really, in all honesty, if you guys are noticing, it's not that different. Working with the resin prints, getting them, the process in the long run is the same. It's just a different program, is all it is. Where these guys are painful is the post-processing, cleaning them up and doing all that jazz. So we got everybody in the box. No one's overlapping. Everybody's blue. If it was out of the box, it would be showing red. I actually, I'll be honest, I picked up the starter kit, but I haven't even opened it. I've got this one and I got the more current one to start working with. So I've got everybody at a 45-degree angle now. Now we're going to hop back over and we're going to light supports plus all. It's going to process all that. Hopefully there's a little bit less support structure here. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. So we'll hop back over and I'm going to send this to the Proxima. So I'm going to slice it. We'll get that one sent over. Or, well, I'll get this one saved because I'll have to, I don't have these on, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have these on an Octoprint or anything like that right now. So you guys can see as we go down the layers, that's what the light is going to be doing on the printer as it goes through and prints. So I'm going to save that. Saving as an FDG, which is what I need. And we'll get this one sliced. So, and then I'll put it on a thumb drive. I'll take it over to the printer. I'll make sure I've got enough resin in the bay to handle the workload. And we will get these little guys printed out. And I'll maybe show them on the next stream. Now, next week, guys, just so you know, there is no stream. There will be a video, but no stream. I'm going on vacation, so I won't be live streaming. This is the last live stream of the year. Woohoo! And it's just a little bit different. It's just working with slicing. So I've saved it. It's good. I can go back. Actually, if you guys are curious, settings for my Proxima for the print, there's my settings. That's what I've been using right now. I've been using the eSun Tough resin. I like working with it a lot better than I do just the photo standard resins, which has been the Illigu standard resin. I like working with the Tough resin a lot better. It's got a lot more flexibility when I take it out. It's not as hard, so I can actually get these supports off pretty easy. So I'm curious to see how this one comes out because it's Star Wars. It's fun. My Photon Mono X, there's my settings. Especially the exposure time and the bottom exposure is definitely a lot longer to make sure I get a good hold to the build plate. There's my Creality, LRD002. That was the settings I use with it. And then I've got my Illigu Mars. Those are the settings that I have on there for my print. This one I still have to dial in and configure. So, and I haven't made any changes to G-code. That's all standard. So that's my settings for my resin printing. And I'm going to have some fun with this one, I think. I'm pretty hopeful that it'll come out. So we're going to get those guys off the build plate. Let's go take a look at something else. So Clone Troopers, that's just fun. I'm just doing that one for fun. Oh, I was going to do this. Who here has played the new Halo game? Anybody? Because why not? That's a Razorback that is way too big for the build plate. We're going to scale that. Scale it to fit. There we go. Nice, good, clean, simple model. But I am going to totally not what I wanted to do. I'm going to angle it. And let's support it. Woo! That's a lot of support. I'm curious to how this one will turn out. That's just the new Razorback version. Troop transporter. I'm a little concerned. There's a part missing right there. That's not because it's too high up. Is it out of the build area? Is that why it's that way? Yeah, I know. Huh, no, that's the actual model. Let's choose a different one. There's 3 warthogs in here. Let's go with the actual warthog. There we go. Gun and all. So let's put it on the plate. Let's scale it to fit to the plate. I'm actually going to knock it down to 50%. And then I'm going to angle it. Now you're probably wondering why I'm doing the angling. It actually lets the printer build better. I found with models that this just works better having it at a 45-degree angle. We're going to let it build into the supports. Oh, good. It did do supporting for the gun, which is good. But as it goes up, it's going up like this. And I'm actually really liking that. That is not a ton of support. That should build really well. I'm going to save that one. I want to have some fun with that. I wouldn't mind having a Warthog centerpiece on my desk. I don't know about you guys. Seems like a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to save that one. That one's also, because I saved it for the Proxima, it's going there. But let's go big. Let's let this save, and then we're going to get something to put on my my Photon Mono X. Let's go with the big printer. A lot better build plate. While that goes on, let's find something. Let's see here. What would be a fun one? Not the Chainsword. Millennium Falcon is a different project. Harlow class is not that detailed. Oh, I think this is the battle tank from Oath MS team. That'd be kind of fun. Extract. No images. Oop, files. Yeah. Whoops. Oop. There we go. All right, so that one's saved for me to work on. I'm going to switch my printer to the Photon Mono X. You guys can see that build plate just jumped when I went to the Photon Mono X. We're going to get rid of that model. I don't even think I could get Boba to fit on this. So let's get that tank. That tank looks like it would be fun. 2 pieces. Double big barrel tank. That looks like it'd be kind of a good print. Let's rotate it. 45 degrees. We're going to go here. Add the support. Yeah, that's a pretty quick little model. I like that one. So hop back, we'll slice it. That's another one to play with. How can you go wrong with a tank, right? I mean, come on. it's a tank. Save. Now I could do a network send with that one. I don't have it configured though. To send that back to my mono, and my mono has a print on it right now that I need to go pull of another Mercy figurine. So that's writing the file. We'll let that finish. Let's go find another one. Models for tonight. Got the Halo Scorpion. With resin, I wouldn't do any. As you can see, it's actually doing support. It's actually, I don't have a raft shape on there. Those are standard. Of course, you can adjust your density, but my bottom I'm using a skate. So, it's kind of like a brim or a skirt for FDM printing, but with resin it's a little bit different terminology. But for that, it's doing really well. Now, if I was doing this in FDM drip drops, I would probably I'd raft it, but I try to get minimal support, especially the way this cannon's going to build. Actually, here, let's go over to FDM land. Clear build plate, because I actually printed this with FDM. No, you're fine. Let's go over to FDM. I don't mind doing the model. The model goes either spot. I've been kind of just hopping between both. So, all right, we're on a Cura build plate. This is a CR10. So first thing I'm going to do, FDM, I hate people not separating the model. This is one model. That drives me nuts. So what we got to do first is grab the model, go into my mesh tools, and we're going to split the model into parts. This is going to take a moment. It's going to split these in two. All right, so now the cannon. Well, it says it just broke it into 3 submeshes. Oh, is Cura going to crash on me? Cura is crashing. Oh. Well, that's fine, because coming over here into filament is fine. So how I would do this, I've split it. I'm going to actually reset my view to my front view. All right. So I don't know what that stuff is. That's fine. I want the body. So if I was printing this, just me, man, breaking this up really kind of clogs stuff up. There is something right here that's getting red. Oh. Well, we might be approaching the end of the stream here, I think. I got to get this third. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's what's happened. There's a ton of stuff we can't see. Oh my. So which model are you? And I'll get rid of everything else. So you're part 4. Okay. I'm going to delete all. I'm going to try to get rid of this garbage. All right. So I've got it back down to just the 2. So how I would print this is I'm going to rotate this to stand up. And actually probably same with the tank body. I'm going to rotate it, stand upward. That way I have as minimal spot touching the build plate, and actually thinking about it, tank body, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to put it back down. But the gun, I'm not. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back with my custom supports and make sure that is well supported. The tank body will get its supports. And in my support realm here, I'm going to actually only leave that at about 80. And I would raft this. So rafting, there's nothing wrong with it. It widens the build area, especially if you've got a narrow print like this. There is nothing wrong with a raft. So I would raft. I tend to raft a lot. Raft is, oh, don't do that. Raft is kind of my go-to, to be honest with you. Actually, I'm going to slice that because I think I'm going to print it. So, because some people get on to me for, oh, you use too many supports. You know, I don't agree. I would rather have the model. I would rather get the model the first time instead of a bunch of. So, AIM 6 Mac, what you need to do is go up to Marketplace. And in the Marketplace, under plugins, there's a custom support. And you need to add that plugin into your Cura. And that will add this button here in the corner of custom support. So it's an add-on that you got to go get. And it should be free, but it's under community plugins, and then there should be custom support. Yeah, rafting. So a lot of people ask me, a skirt is worthless. I'm putting a line out there that's not touching. Why waste the filament? A brim is good. It's holding, but sometimes it can be a pain to clean up after you're done. A raft, if you've got your air gap set right, when it's done and everything cools, it'll just pop off. So that's definitely one of the things to kind of keep in mind. It gives you the ability to hold on, and then these custom supports, you can alter these custom support settings. You can change the base, the millimeter. You can make these, I mean, you can make them needle thin like that. So you have a lot of flexibility of how you can change these. And you can use the cubed ones as well for, like, here at the tank. If I wanted to just start putting cubes in underneath to let it have a grip, you can do that. So right now I'm in my CR10 settings right now. So I did some with the Odin earlier. So if you're curious about the Odin, this will be a video after it's done if you can check out the Odin settings. But my CR10 settings, actually, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to delete this guy. And we're going to go grab you. We're going to go back to cylinder. I think I'm going to use just a narrow cylinder right there. So you can adjust the base so you can get a lot of these in there to really kind of get a good build. And then you can do stuff like this underneath. Like, this is all a raised area that's going to fill in with support no matter really what I do, unless I turn it upward. But if I turn it upward, I may lose all this detail, and I don't want that. Where I connect to the build plate is I try to connect to the build plate where the person's not going to see it. Now, I could print this right on glass, try to get a perfect smoothness. Doesn't always happen. But this, printing flat can mess this up, because I actually have this printed, and maybe next year when I do the first live stream of the year, maybe I'll bring it in there. It's just a little small guy, because I've got 3 Gundam 08th MS team models that I need to put together. I've got the Easy 8 put together that I bought. I bought all 3 model kits. I've got the Easy 8 put together. The only one I haven't found a good model for is the hover truck, unfortunately. So, but this, because this is a Gundam 08th tank from 08th MS team. If you watch the intro, this tank is in there. So that one's kind of a neat one. But if I was doing this in resin, just have that bit of an angle, And I've already saved it, but you guys can see it's definitely got a good way to do it. So I've got that one saved already, so I can kick that one off. Let's go take a look at what other models I got out here. Who wants to play with a Sith battle cruiser? Sounds like fun. Files. We'll launch that one. So, just so you guys know, I still am back on Cura 4.10. I'll keep saying it. I tried 11, caused a lot of problems. Oh my goodness. This is a CR10. Oh, there's not a lot of detail in this, though. This one may not get printed. That's very bleh. Yeah. That model's bleh. Delete. Yeah, let's pick a different one. Ooh. Anybody here Babylon 5 fans? Or Battlestar Galactica? Huh, I don't have that one extracted. And that ship's been on the streams multiple times. Oh, it is extracted. Replace. Let's see here. What else we got? What Star Warsy do we have? I already worked on the Mandalorian helmet tonight. Let's see here. This Artemis. So this is more of the original Battlestar Galactica design. These are meant for FDM, and they broke it into pieces. We're going to look at the full model, because I'm crazy and I do stuff like that. I just do the whole thing in one print. It caused me issues, because I was coming up from an older version. It didn't like my profile, and I really don't want to sit here and re-enter my profile. Now, looking at this, guys, you can see this model has issues. See these these purples and these blues? The model isn't completely finished. There's holes in it, basically. So one thing we can do is, in here, I've added the Mesh Tools plugin, and I can try to fix it and let this run for a minute. I'll tell you, this webcam is not a great one. This is not my normal rig. So normally I'd be upstairs at the desk, actually working on models. But this was actually asked for me to do a slicing session. So this is actually downstairs at my modeling computer. So unfortunately, it's not letting me zoom in the camera that well. So it looks like it has run. I'm going to run this again, and I'm going to fix simple holes. And it needs more extensive repairs. But what sometimes might happen here too is those are inside and won't affect how the model actually prints. Now, how would I print this? Not like this. She got to rotate. For FDM, I would print it like this. But what's going to tell me if the model's actually not broken is basically taking a look at this, and I preview it, I'm going to see stuff missing. Oh my goodness, support land, support land. All in all, let's take that model over here. Let's see what it would look like in Resin land. All in all, not too bad. This is the Photon Mono X, so it's got a bigger build plate. I would rotate it upward, and I would turn it sideways. Oh, the cooler setup? Yeah, that was a chore in itself. Scale, I'm gonna scale it to fit. Oh no, what did I just do? What did you just do? You did not scale to fit. Oh, ouch. This model may be more broken than I want to admit. Or I just broke. Yeah, see what it's doing there? See that hole? That shouldn't. Yeah, the Noctua fans, they make the Ender 3 so much better. I keep meaning to do a video on the CR10s, but... Oh, you went with the 20 millimeter fans? Yeah. I haven't had a single problem with the 10s. And I also just changed out my Ender 3s both to the K-Swiss full metal hot ends. And they're purring like kittens. So I really have no inkling to change that. So that Artemis is just ain't gonna fly today. Mixer stuff for another stream. What else here? The Sith one was poopy. It could work on the chain sort. You know what? We're gonna work on R2D2. Because that is one of the big projects that's coming up, is just full scale R2D2. So the CR10S Pro, did you change the fans in the actual casing? Because that's where a lot of the noise comes from. It's not actually the hot end that's really bad, it's the control box. Although I'm not sure about the S Pro if it has the big bulky control box. So we'll go in here to STLs, and we got a lot of stuff. So I'll focus on R2D2. I'm not going to do these older ones. So let's go to R2D2's. There's a lot here. Let's look at his main dome. I wonder why the printer is louder, other than I do know it has larger fans. So there's the first piece of the dome. That's not how I would print it. I'm going to stand that guy up. This is a CR10 build plate. That doesn't look too terrible, actually. Doesn't even look like a support issue. But seeing how that curvature is, the raft's going to have to be a thing here. And I'm going to up my infill density to 10% because I want this to have strength. But where is my raft settings? I'm gonna up my raft to not 155. I'm gonna up my raft to 15. It's a little bit of a waste, but look at that angle. So that angle does just to give some additional strength as the printer goes up. One, I don't want layer shift. So that's why I'm kind of putting in these additional supports to kind of help prevent that. I don't think this will sag in, but it's kind of one of those things. we got to kind of hopefully take a look at here and kind of move that forward. So we'll take a look at that. And that's not too bad. Ryan76, I'm not sure what you did, but if you put too many emoticons or caps or started cussing, Streamlabs will boot you automatically, and that's looks like what it did. And it's actually saying refrain from spamming emotes, so that's why it did that. So sorry, man. That's just the software being the software. AIM-6 Maxi. Here's why it doesn't bother me. Those supports and why I expanded the raft right there. And these are custom supports. These are not the auto-generated supports, so they're going to build as pillars. So, unlike the auto-generate support that's thin, these will build up strong and not collapse. So, kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at that. And they're going to go up together. So it's not really kind of a thing that really scares me. In all honesty, this probably will hold and not be a problem. It would probably hold to the build plate nicely. I want the model the first support sometimes. And honestly, these custom supports, the settings I use, the 4 and the 7.5, and they build up actually pretty nice. So, and I actually don't throw those away. I reuse them in other things that I build. So they come in handy, especially depending on what infill you're choosing for your model. These can get really thick, and with that, they make great stir sticks and stuff like that too. Yeah, AIM-6 Mac, I use a raft. I prefer the raft. I have a pretty good air gap set in mine that lets me pull it off. The .03 usually lets me just pop it right off. And then a little bit of sanding on the bottom. It's smooth as can be, or sometimes I have to take filler. But again, that's how I print is this piece under here, no one's going to see that. So I really don't care how the bottom's going to look. So that's kind of how I work the print. The way that I work it is the parts that are internal that you're not going to see, I try to put that in. That's like I talked earlier with the Mandalorian helmet. People tell me I ought to print them upside down, and because it uses less support. I would rather have the print finish than save support. And by print finish, I mean where that support is connecting onto that model when it's upside down. Guess what? I have to sit there with a file or sandpaper and I have to sand that back to smooth. More than I should have to. Where if that support is on the inside of the helmet, who cares? You're not going to see that part. More likely, that piece where that support connects into the top of the dome, I'm going to put a piece of foam in because I want it to sit comfortably and correctly on my head. So who cares what it looks like at that point? Where this one, the raft is holding on to the base of all those. It all builds as one piece, and it builds very nicely. Because again, I want the model the first time. I don't want to have to print this 5 times to get it right. I want to try to get it right the first shot, and if I have to over support it a little bit, now granted, I'm doing a lot of stuff that, so when I print these, I'm not using the standard 1 kilogram spools either. I'm using 3 kilogram or 5 kilogram spools that I have mounted on my printers back there, that I've built mounts for, and I don't have to worry a lot about. 10C is one of my favorites here lately. I have not done the laser engraving. Honestly, that has not even perked my interest. I was curious about a Glowforge, and then I saw the price tags. and just a standard laser engraving, because this is in my basement of my house. It's just not a safe area for me to do it. I've thought about when the next time one of my Ender 3s breaks down and I just don't want to mess with the hot end, about switching it to a laser, but just hasn't been in my hit list here lately. So I'm actually going to save that one. Actually, I think I have a printer open that can accommodate that print. Now, I've shown some resin. We've done some filament. Who wants to see something kind of just different? Because in my shop, I have the CR30, the Creality belt printer. This one's a different little beast, guys. And it's really great, especially if you're going to be mass producing the same thing over and over again. The CR30 definitely offers you a different gambit because you have an endless Z. So it's kind of one of those things. It lets you do a lot of cool stuff. How many copies you want of the same model, distance between in millimeters, and different things like this. Now this is the Creality belt Cura, because standard Cura doesn't have the configuration angle in it yet. So there is a video where I show my 3D printing print room. I have 14 printers in my shop now. And I do a lot of printing. There's a game shop here in St. Louis that a lot of people go to that I'll print terrain and stuff like that for them. I print a lot of ship models. A lot of times people ask me to custom do stuff, making my own stuff. So I do kind of a lot of stuff. I also go find stuff out on Thingiverse and work with, because I want this channel to be a teaching moment. When you're stuck on trying to figure something out, maybe I've answered it. That's the whole point of these live streams. I want you guys to bring problems and questions. And if there's a model that you're having a problem with, email it. We'll try to fix it in stream, because that's the fun of it. So that's where I'm kind of going with this kind of stuff is, and actually I'm even kind of stepping up the game, because this white section right here, this is one of the Xbox One Connect cameras. And I use 3D modeling software with this camera to actually do 3D imaging. So I can actually 3D scan with this camera and pull an item into my environment. And it's just using something that isn't even made anymore. But this thing works really well because I had it laying around. My Xbox died, I don't know when. And this guy was just sitting in a box, and I found a video of the 3D build software that Microsoft offers. So, and I've got a little turntable sitting in here that I'll scan. I'm working on scan car parts right now. Let's see here. Let's go to the Microsoft Store, because this is freebie software and it works fine for what I'm doing, because then I'll clean it up. 3D. It works fine for what I'm doing. Apps. And there's pay-for software I could do with it too. 3D Scan. It's just a Microsoft tool. Actually, I think and you can see right there, and I'm pointing at it, and even though my mouse is moving around it, they're showing you using an Xbox Connect camera to do this and get these scans and make models. So, what do I have around? I got a broken Mercy, because I accidentally broke it. Let's open the software. Let's see if it's working right now. It may not work because I'm running the stream and it's got all my cameras. And judging by this, it's not going to work. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to try to disconnect and... Nope, that's the... uh-oh. That's the wrong camera! Oh, all right. Get that camera back up here. I'm going to reboot that. Let's see if it will pick up. All right, Connect picked back up. Could be very much a problem with it. The Kinect cameras are finicky. Maybe I need to open. So I upgraded to 11 and I broken it. I had it working on Windows 10, but obviously Windows 11 has other things in store for me with this. So if I get this one working, I'll definitely let you guys know. I had it working, and I don't think it, I think it's actually, because I noticed the light's not on, so it could just be a different problem. So I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. It could be the Streamlabs software is interrupting it too. So, but this is the belt software. And I do need to get some projects started on here, but it's kind of one of those things. There's an adapter box you can buy to actually connect it to USB to your computer, and then start having some fun with it. I'm actually wondering if it's actually trying to connect to my Xbox app, and that's what's causing the problem. But troubleshooting on stream is not always fun. I may need to reinstall the developer toolkit. I'm wondering if that's what I lost. Yep, I lost the toolkit. So Windows 11. I'm an IT guy. That's what I do professionally every day is IT. It's not bad. Granted, it's going to break things because, well, it's Microsoft. If you guys want me to do, once I have this working, I can do a full video on the sensor because honestly, it's a lot of fun. And I've got some more parts I need to actually scan for another project I'm working on for a gentleman, but that's other things. But it's one of those things, being able to scan something in and then clean it up in Mesh Mixer and stuff like that and make your own model of something like a part you need is a whole point of this hobby. Is, and honestly, not even a hobby, it's a business at this point. So it can be really cool. And actually, what time is, oh dear, where's the time? Actually, I've only got 6 minutes left that I can stream before I have to move on to other stuff. Before I have to end the stream and call it a night. But kind of one of those things, kind of keep that in mind as you go through with this stuff that, you know, look at what you have around the house and that you can build into this. I'd never thought about the Kinect camera. There's ways to use webcams. An iPhone, I think it's iPhone 11 or higher that has the LiDAR. There's a program called Photogeometry that you can download, and I don't think it's very expensive. There's even free versions of it that you can 3D scan with your cell phone. So it's really cool what you can do with the 3D scanning and stuff. And then you bring it into here, you get it ready to print. Well, first I would take it into this, into Autodesk Mesh Mixer and clean it up, and you know, the scan's going to have rough edges and stuff that you're going to have to clean up. Mesh Mixer is a pretty awesome tool for that. It's also awesome for splitting it into smaller pieces and different things like that to get stuff printed. If you're curious on how to break it in smaller pieces and stuff, go check out my video on that. But there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this stuff to really kind of make this a lot of fun. So if you guys enjoyed it and you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. If there's models you're curious about or want to see worked on, you know, shoot me an email. My email is on the community page. And just kind of keep in there. New videos come out every Friday. We've got that every week. There's a new video. And I try to live stream on Tuesdays because that's just the best day that I have that I can do this. Again, no live stream next Tuesday. There will be a video talking about the VoxLab Proxima, my unboxing and my first impressions with it. So that'll be there. So there will be a video for that Tuesday, and I will see you guys in a live stream after the beginning of the new year. Happy holidays to everybody, and we will see you guys next time.